A photograph from 2019 shows two Colombian soldiers giving a final salute as they free fall. The rope that was carrying them suddenly broke during an air show. In the era of the Great Depression, homeless Americans were forced to live in Hoovervilles, shanty towns named to mock President Hoover. The middle class virtually disappeared, unemployment soared to 25%, and prices for farm goods dropped by nearly half. Fresno College students attempting to set a new world record for the most people on one bed, 73 people, 1961. German automobile with a spring steel tire used due to the rubber shortage during World War I, 1917. King George III's 10-day royal hunting expedition in Nepal. Numerous tigers, rhinoceros, bears, leopards, deer, boar, porcupines, and birds were killed with a massive 12,000 crew in 1911. In this photo, the English wizard Alex Sanders, self-proclaimed King of Witches, is initiating a young novice into the mysteries of the magical arts. The wizard placed the naked novice in a circle, then lay on top and recited incantations. Thus the girl became a witch. Sanders died on April 30, 1988, after a prolonged battle with lung cancer. Eyes that saw the nuclear explosion. Japan, Hiroshima, 1945. In 1904, Ota Benga was kidnapped from Congo and taken to the USA, where he was displayed in a human zoo. A German soldier gives bread to a Russian orphan boy, 1942. This blonde, blue-eyed child was spared, but tragically another boy nearby, dark-haired and swarthy, was treated with brutal cruelty by the very same soldiers. Naturalist Carl Akeley poses with a leopard that attacked him, which he killed with his bare hands, 1896. A giant sea devil caught by Captain Khan, August 26, 1933. Robert Corder during the testing of his invention, a jetpack, USA, 1969. Walter Yeo, the first known patient to undergo plastic surgery in medical history. Martin Luther King Jr. is arrested for demanding service at a whites-only restaurant, Florida, USA, 1964. The basketball team of the Chilocco Indian School. This symbol once represented luck, USA, 1908. Maranasati, a spiritual practice in Hinduism in which one must contemplate the entire process of a corpse's decomposition in order to despise death. Mass initiation ceremony into the Ku Klux Klan, 1946. Although the organization was banned in 1871, it exists to this day. Sophia Loren disapprovingly looks at Jane Mansfield's exposed chest, 1960s. Heads of 7 major U.S. tobacco companies testify under oath that nicotine is not addictive, 1994. Punishment for drunkenness in Chechnya, 1990. A timeless problem, the fight against excess weight. For example, Portuguese monks in the 12th century fought this issue by making a special opening in their monastery's dining hall so that overweight monks had to fast. Martin Luther King is attacked by States' Rights Party member Jimmy Robinson as King attempts to check into a hotel, USA, 1965. In 1971, civil rights activist Ann Atwater was forced to work with KKK leader Ellis. Later, Ellis renounced the Klan, tore up his card, and dedicated the rest of his life to fighting for equality. In 1918, Frances Griffiths and her cousin photographed what they claimed were real fairies and became famous overnight. It wasn't until 1983 that it was revealed this was the world's very first major hoax. Alphonse Allais, Battle of Blacks in the Cave Late at Night, 1893. Beauty pageant winners, Washington, 1922. A legendary moment in archaeology, the intact 3,000-year-old seal on the doorway of Tutankhamun's tomb, just before it was unsealed in 1923. People skating on frozen Niagara Falls, 1885. An orphaned German boy trades his father's Iron Cross for cigarettes, Berlin, 1945. The fly whisk strike delivered by the ruler of Algiers to the French ambassador in 1827 over debt disputes served as the pretext for the French invasion and subsequent century-long occupation of Algeria, which lasted until 1962. Menthol cocaine for coughs, 1911. Instructions say to take 1 lozenge every 2 hours. A Vietnamese family fleeing to Saigon during the Vietnam War, 1972. The Man with Two Heads, Pascual Piñon, Mexico, early 20th century. The steam vibrator. This is the world's first steam-powered vibrator, designed by American doctor George Taylor in 1869. Dr. Taylor used it to treat female hysteria. A message on a wall, "Lord, if I die young, send me to heaven because I've already been to hell." Yugoslavian war period, 90s. A 3-wheeled timber truck from the early 1900s. In those days, hard labor literally meant hard labor. In 1968, for the first time in history, a woman lit the Olympic flame. In the photo, Mexican runner Ketty Basilio. French women who had connections with Germans were publicly humiliated as traitors. The irony is that France itself capitulated in 43 days, but it was the women who were portrayed as traitors. In 1942, a Chinese-American worker at a Los Angeles factory wrote on his back to identify himself as Chinese, not Japanese. Leg prosthetics, a technology ahead of its time, year 1900. Early advancements in biomechanical support. The day Prohibition was repealed, USA, December 5, 1933. British Captain Robert Campbell, during World War I, was wounded and captured in Magdeburg. In November 1916, he learned that his mother was dying of cancer and asked Kaiser Wilhelm II for permission to visit England. The Kaiser granted him 2 weeks with the officer's word of honor. Campbell visited his mother and returned to captivity, where he stayed until the end of the war. Residents of the Czech city of Asch greet German troops, 1938. Women make decoy heads to help spot snipers on the front lines, World War I. Soviet T-34-85 tanks lining up before the Battle of Berlin, 1945. George Moore, the living skeleton, and Fred Howe, the fat man, intermedial actors and the world's funniest boxers. USA, 1897. Bertram Mills's freak show participants inspecting girls with giraffe necks. Freaks were very popular at the time, just as they are now. USA, 1935. A Bosnian soldier near a destroyed house where 69 people, including his family, perished. Yugoslavian War, 1995. Cuban Revolution, 1959. President Joe Biden in his youth, 1960s. A military trick by German General Leto Vorbeck. The youngest soldier at the end of the line jumps into an elephant's foot, trampling the tracks. German East Africa, World War I, around 1914. 80 years ago, members of the White House press corps rushed to telephones after Truman announced Japan's surrender, August 14, 1945. Children's Carnival against child beating with slogans "Down with the Belt" and "No Place for the Whip," USSR, 1930. Trump is a chump, an anti-Trump rally by the Nation of Islam in front of Trump Towers in 1988. a doctor tracked the progression of Alzheimer's disease in a patient over 15 years by analyzing the signatures on medical forms. French police show the way to entering the German Wehrmacht in Paris. In 1945, France would become one of the victorious countries. The leader in the number of assassination attempts. According to Fidel Castro's head of security, there were 638 assassination attempts on the Cuban leader, mainly by the CIA. All of Mahatma Gandhi's possessions after his death, India, 1948. Prisoners of the Flossenburg death camp after being liberated by the 97th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army, May 1945. A captured German soldier in front of the burning Reichstag. The absurd death of American dancer Isadora Duncan. Her scarf got caught in the rear wheel of a car, instantly breaking her neck. Nice, September 14, 1927. Crossbow arrows in the skull of a man who fell during the battle for the Swedish city of Visby, Gotland Island, in 1361. Mixed family smile for a self-shot. Looks like one of the two is holding the camera with their little baby England 1940s. The interior design of a train more than 100 years ago. Before the signing of Germany's surrender on May 8, 1945, the head of the German delegation, Field Marshal Keitel, seeing French military personnel among those present at the ceremony, was astonished and asked, "What? Did these also defeat us?" Above, the father's reaction to the birth of a son. Below, the reaction to the birth of a daughter. Azerbaijan, 1909. Pompeii excavations using Giuseppe Fiorelli's plaster casting method. A common punishment in Mongolia for criminals, who were put in a small box that they couldn't even fit into, and displayed publicly while being subjected to starvation. An army jeep in good condition, 1950s. A British soldier at the grave of his friend, Gallipoli, 1915. Alcohol stash during U.S. Prohibition, 1926. A dark chapter in Louisiana history. Under an 1848 law, children born to incarcerated black women became property of the state. Mothers raised them in prison until age 10, after which the state sold the children through newspaper ads. A patient undergoing treatment for mental illness in Germany, 19th century. Advice from a Russian children's magazine on how to point out a black person, 1904. Walt Disney tells his cat about Mickey Mouse, 1931. Survivors and shocked residents of Hiroshima gather on the street. 10 minutes after the atomic explosion, 1945. In 1969, a small group of Native Americans occupied the former prison of Alcatraz in protest against human rights violations in the U.S., holding the land they considered Native American for 3 years. The indigenous peoples demanded honesty and respect from the American government for their tribes. The completion of the assembly of the bomb, called Fat Man, it would later be dropped on Nagasaki in 1945. The Guinness World Record for childbirth belongs to a Russian peasant woman living 200 years ago. Fyodor Vasiliev's wife gave birth 69 children in 27 pregnancies. She had twins 16 times, triplets 7 times, and quadruplets 4 times. Manchester and Cardiff fans arguing over which team plays better football. Britain, 1970s. Wedding on a high wire, France, 1954. 20 meters above ground, no safety gear, just rings and courage. Taken in 1900 in Évreux, France. School children are seen drinking beer, wine, or cider. Until 1956, these drinks were considered healthy and were actually part of school dietary norms. Child gas mask, England, 1938. Police fight against demonstrators protesting against the Vietnam War, USA, 1968. Determining racial affiliation in Germany, 1940. Border guards of East Berlin increased the height of the Berlin Wall by adding barbed wire to prevent attempts by residents of the USSR to escape to Germany, 1961. The shadow of a person left after the atomic bomb blast in Hiroshima. Man in a rooster costume, late 19th century. Japanese machine gunners in training, 1945. The entire population of the land of the rising sun was being prepared to repel an American invasion of the Japanese islands. Police photos of 27-year-old John Wojtowicz, sentenced to 20 years for robbing a bank to pay for a sex change operation for his lover, 1972. Native American Sachin Little Feather refuses the Oscar Award, 1973. In the category of Best Actor, Marlon Brando won for his role in The Godfather. However, he refused to attend the ceremony, and instead a Native American woman took the stage. She addressed the audience saying, Marlon regrets not being able to attend, but he refuses the award due to the terrible treatment of Native Americans in the U.S. Liberated prisoners from the German Dachau concentration camp beating a guard dog, 1945. Young lady looks at the camera while the men secure their baggage to their car. Migrants from Florida to New York in a stop in Shawboro, North Carolina, July 1940. A Bear artilleryman fought in the Polish army in exile during Jardziu. He helped Polish gunners unload ammunition crates and even carried shells during battle. A woman mourns the tragedy of July 3, 1988, when the U.S. Navy shot down an Iranian passenger plane with 290 civilians, including 66 children. One of the first home vacuum cleaners, Siemens Elmo, 1906. The Lebensborn program operated in the Third Reich. Racially pure women slept with SS officers to produce true Aryans. Over 12 years, 20,000 children were born through this program. Gold prospectors climbed the Chilkoot Pass to reach the Klondike Goldfields, Alaska, 1898. A black family drinks from a colored-only fountain in the U.S., 1956. The contrast between their dignified appearance and their humiliating social status is striking. An elephant from a Belgian zoo is forced to work on a farm during World War I, 1915. Whether you felt happy, annoyed, or just entertained, drop a comment and tell me why. Keep an eye out for the sequel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. See ya.